Hello, A Person here, and welcome to Kitchen Table Jank vs the World, or welcome back if you're coming from the previous video. A series where I play trading card games with decks that I own in real life, and they are very budget decks too. And we try to play them against players with full power access to every card in the game. This week, we're playing the Pokemon trading card game. Wait, there's a Pokemon trading card game? You mean these collectible cards actually have a game you can play with them? And it's designed to be friendly so the kids can play it? So, why weren't more kids playing? What do you mean the base set Charizard isn't the best card in the game? I mean, look at those stats. 120 HP, 100 damage. How is that not good? Suffice to say, well, it's a long story really, but Pokemon trading card game is in that interesting situation where, because of the recognisability of the brand, there are arguably more collectors than players, and there's also the strong argument made that no mainstream media presence was ever there to teach people how to play the card game, only the video games really, so that's kind of how that really developed in some ways. But yeah, when I was younger, people used to trade Pokemon cards all the time. That's how I got interested in it. But I quickly learned that there was also a game you could play with them and began to get interested in playing them. So let's go a bit more into details about how I got into the Pokemon trading card game. So I did, obviously let's get into it when people were trading cards on the playground, back when Pokemon was booming, and I've seen them all around, and eventually I grabbed myself the 2-player starter sets with the fire and fighting mini decks you could play, which had a Charmander, Charmeleon, and also had the Marshop line complete with one extra Marchamp. But yeah, that was how I first started a Pokemon card collection. I used to play with family and friends, although I've in recent years learned that there was some cheating involved back then, but never mind. But yeah, I did thoroughly enjoy the game, and it helped introduce me to how to play trading card games overall. Perhaps incorrectly really, because it means that I always get caught out by the fact that in Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh you can do things after you attack, but that's a story for another time, let's just say. Anyway, in 2002 I bought the Pokemon trading card game Game Boy game, and that really helped. Well, it really helped me continue my interest in said game and allowed me to play it on the Game Boy Color, as it were. So that was something that I also did with a friend as well, even though at the time we were both getting a bit more into Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, which were coming out around the same time as each other. But yeah, so I had got a bit of a Pokemon card collection that had been going on, both through the starter sets and through extra cards that you could get at movies and such, because that was one of my motivations. I even had the Ancient Mew card that you got for seeing Pokemon the movie 2000s. Yeah, eventually I sold all my Pokemon cards so that I could focus on collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which, as I said in the previous video, turned out to be a massive mistake. And last year, yes, I got back into all these card games around the same year as each other. I decided to pick up the Battle Mine theme deck from Unbroken Bonds, which was the first time I bought Pokemon cards in years. So that was my introduction back into the game. It was recommended as the better of the two theme decks from the newest expansion, so I went and picked that up, and this deck has a ridiculous amount of draw power to it. So I did start tweaking it, even though interest in playing Pokemon with my friends very, very quickly fell off. I still decided I wanted to try and edit this deck so that it was a bit better than it was before. So now, what I didn't realise though was that theme decks generally are so far off what modern Pokemon decks actually look like, and are far from competitive in any ways. You have to do quite a bit of surgery to them if you want to get up to their standard, because I actually brought this deck to my local Pokemon League and got absolutely trounced by everyone. So yeah, lessons learned the hard way. Now I did end up tweaking it along the way by making some changes, because I realised that my deck had too many Pokemon somewhat. It also had too many supporters, so the idea of using Welder every single turn, which was the main strategy of the deck, wasn't going to really work so well. So I decided that I would add some more trainers. Fortunately, the Sword and Shield pre-release came around, and with it I was able to build a pre-release deck which had a lot better trainer count, so I ended up taking those trainer cards out of the deck and putting them into my main deck, which drastically improved things, although it has somewhat hurt the draw power of the deck in some ways, and the reduction in the amount of Pokemon, because I realised that you actually need about nearly half your deck to be trainer cards. That really impacted the deck somewhat, and consistency issues arose from there. So yeah, this deck's still far from perfect, but I'm going to keep trying on with it. So without further ado, let's go to see the deck profile. So then, this is the deck profile. If you think this looks like just a pile of cards jumbled and smashed all together, that's because it is. Anyway, let's go through the cards card by card anyway to see what we have. We have one copy of Minchino, Tail Whap, 30 damage for single energy, because we play it so it evolves to Chinchino. Now, energy assist, 40 damage, and attaching a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon is nice, but that's not the reason why we're playing it. The main reason we're playing it is because of the Make Do ability. You may discard a card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may draw 2 cards. Now, I was running Salazzle for this role with the Roast Reveal ability. Once during your turn, you may discard a fire energy from your hand, and then you get to draw 3 cards. Now, it does draw you more cards. I think Chinchino is better because it allows you to discard any card from your hand in order to draw 2 cards, so it comes up a lot more often, is a lot more flexible and usable, so that's why I'm running it. 2 Stuffle and 2 Beware. The Stuffle does 1 energy, 10 damage, 3 energy, 60 damage. The Beware has the ability Rake It In. When you play this Pokemon to evolve your Pokemon, you may draw 3 cards. So you can see this deck wants to draw a lot of cards. And we also have an attack. It's one of the main attackers in the deck. And for this reason, Dangerous Blow, 60 damage, but if your opponent's basic active Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, this attack does 60 more damage, so it's really good against a particular type of deck, which runs a lot of basic Pokemon, so this can be kind of very handy against those. 2 copies of Galarian Zigzagoon, and we'll play it just for the ability Headbutt Tantrum. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may put 1 damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Now, I was running Incineroar for this particular role before with the ability Strong Cheer. Your Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. But unfortunately, the problem with Incineroar is he's too slow to set up. He's a stage 2, so we didn't really have a lot of rare candidates to get enlisted immediately into an Incineroar. So I decided to just change it out and use Galarian Zigzagoon instead, which is just that much better in terms of dealing damage. We're also running 1 copy of Galarian Obstagoon because of its ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. This is Untamed Shout ability. We'll also play it for the Obstruct attack, which does 90 damage, but then during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon. As you can see, this deck has a few options for taking on basic Pokemon in it, so we have more than enough there. We're also not playing the Galarian Linoon in this deck because I don't really think it goes with the idea of its role being to deal additional damage, so I cut it entirely, but we do have a way to get into Galarian Obstagoon, so it's not a dead card in the deck. 3 Latias, this is the main attacker in the deck. With 1 Psychic Energy, you have Energy Arrow, which is 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon times the amount of energy attached to that Pokemon. So this goes really well with catching and gusting options, where you can force your opponent's best Pokemon onto the bench and then attack their bench with Energy Arrow and still chip away at their health while staying out of range of damage. So that's the ideal situation when you want to be using Energy Arrow, but Energy Arrow is pretty good because you can basically give yourself flexibility on who you attack and punish your opponent for setting up particular Pokemon, which can really level the playing field somewhat. And for 2 Fire Energy and 1 colorless, we have Speed Wing, which does a solid 100 damage. It's a solid if unspectacular. It's gonna miss the mark on many different Pokemon, but it's a good amount of damage to do, and we can kill some basics in a way, so that's always a nice option to have. Ideally, we want to have 2 Fire Energy and a Psychic Energy on Latias so that we can use both attacks and have more flexibility when we see fit. And this deck has the capacity to be able to set up something like that, so I felt it just fit very well into the deck. 1 copy of Turtonator. This is the best attacker in the deck, but it's also not the most consistent one, so it's not really the main attacker for that reason, but it's a nice option to go into to try and finish some big Pokemon off or something, because it has the attack Explosive Jet. which does 50 damage times the amount of energy you discard from all of your Pokemon, as in fire energy that is. So it costs 3 fire energy, and then you just discard as much fire energy as possible to do as much damage as possible, and you get 50 damage for each fire discarded. So this thing can knock out some huge blows and do massive amounts of damage. If you have enough energy in play, this can do over 300 damage, so it's perfect with big blowouts, but it can be a problem because of the free retreat cost. It can leave you stuck in the active, and you need quite a high pay count to be able to do something, but it's worth noting you can discard the fire energy from any Pokemon, not just Eternatus. So you can discard it from stuff like Chinchino, you can also discard it from stuff like Beware, or you can even discard it if needs be from our next card on the list, Gossifleur. This is in the deck for the Call of the Family ability, which is a fantastic starting attack because we get to search for 3 basic Pokemon, put them onto the bench and then shuffle the deck. This is really good because of the low count of Pokemon we're running for certain types and evolution lines, so this helps us to address low bench sizes and really get set up while also keeping a lot of important tools in hand. So you can go and fetch Minccino and evolve it into Chinchino, you can go and fetch Stuffle and evolve it into Beware, we can go and fetch our main attacker, Latias, straight out of the deck so we can get rolling as soon as possible. So while this deck wants to draw a lot of cards, it's not actually the main strategy in the deck, and the next Pokemon is going to come across that main strategy because we have a Mewtwo right here. It has the ability Mind Report, which is why we're playing it. When you play this Pokemon onto your hand, from your hand onto your bench, during your turn, you may put a supported card from your discard pile on top of your deck. It also has an attack for 3 energy, you may notice the pattern here, Psyshock. This does 70 damage and it's unaffected by effects on your opponent's Pokemon. So, for instance, we can get around stuff like Galarian Obstagoon, for instance. But the main reason we'll play it is for Mind Report because it's a particularly key card we want to be using every single turn ideally. That's the idea behind this deck. 3 copies of Energy Spinner because we're playing a going second deck, and with Energy Spinner, if you go second and it's your first turn, you get to search for 3 energy cards of any type out of the deck and put them into your hand. Otherwise, it can still be really useful for fishing energy out of the deck when we need it, so it's a very good card overall. We can use it to fetch the Darkness energy for Galarian Obstagoon, we can get the Psychic energy for Latias, and just get Fire energy in general if needed for our main supporter card of the deck. 1 copy of Evolution Incense because I only own 1 copy. This card allows you to search your deck for any evolution Pokemon and put it into your hand. So this is actually effectively a card draw card in this deck because we could then use it to search stuff like Beware or Chinchino and evolve a Stuffle or a Minccino in order to be able to draw more cards. In the Minccino's case, create a consistent draw engine, so pretty good for fetching stuff here. Then we have 2 copies of Fire Crystal, which allows you to put 3 fire energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. Really good card this, basically to retrieve our fire energy to use our main supporter again in the future. I was running Fisherman previously when I first got the deck, but the problem is that Fisherman is a supporter and it kind of disrupts the flow of the deck. Fire Crystal, by being an item card, although it retrieves 1 less energy, it is a far better card because it doesn't stop you from using your supporter for the turn. So, really good card. 1 copy of Great Ball because the search cards I own are somewhat limited. This allows you to look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and if you find a Pokemon there, you can put it into your hand. So, it's not the best of searches. I do have better searching cards, but not enough a certain quantity for this deck's liking really. So we are running this 1 Great Ball as it stands to try and fetch stuff. It's better than nothing, I suppose, and it can help also fetch evolution Pokemon if need be too. 2 copies of Mysterious Treasure in the deck. This has been power crept somewhat by a card we'll see later on, but because of when I was getting cards and the time I stopped buying Pokemon cards, it meant that I only have 1 copy of that card, so we're running 2 of these to help assist the search. So this allows you to discard a card from your hand, and if you do, search your deck for a Psychic or Dragon Pokemon and then put it into your hand and then shuffle your deck. So this basically allows us to fetch our Latias, let's fetch our Turtonator, and let's fetch our Mewtwo. So we can get our main attacker this way, we can also use it to get Turtonator, and we can also use it to help recycle our main supporter card. 1 copy of Palpad as an additional way to recycle our main supporter card. Shuffle 2 supporter cards from your discard pile back into your deck. 2 copies of Pokegear 3.0 to help find supporters more easily. 2 copies of Pokemon Catcher because being able to gust your opponent's Pokemon off the bench is really powerful, even if it's on a coin flip in this instance. But because of our supporter card, having the option to gust on an item card is still very important. And also works really well with Latias too, because we can then put something with a lot of energy on the bench so that it can't attack us, and then hit it while it's on the bench. One copy of Quick Ball because I only have one copy of this card, but it's an absolutely fantastic card. It basically allows you to search for any basic Pokemon in the deck and then put it into your hand. This is the card that power creeps Mysterious Treasure quite considerably because you get to search for any Pokemon. So not only can we search Latias, Eternatus, and Mewtwo as we go with Mysterious Treasure, we also get to get stuff like Galarian Zigzagoon out of the deck and start doing damage that way. One copy of Rare Candy because again I only have one copy of the card, but this is what is going to allow us to get into Galarian Obstagoon in the deck without using Galarian Linoon because it's a small package anyway. Here's another victim of things having moved on considerably since I was collecting cards, because here's 4 Super Scoop Up, which has been power crept in the modern game by Scoop Up nets. So if you want to build a deck, I would suggest getting that card instead. But this card allows you to flip a coin, and if it heads, you get to put a Pokemon from your bench back into your hand. So we're reliant on coin flips here somewhat, but still. 2 copies of Switch, so that you can switch out Pokemon without having to pay the retreat cost. Classic card. We can also use Super Scoop Up to switch out our Pokemon if needs be, but generally it's nice to have additional options, and sometimes you do really want to switch Pokemon without using up all the energy. So I have 2 copies of Switch, so they're in the deck because it's a good card in general. That's it for the items. Onto the supporter cards. We have 1 copy of Kiawe, which allows you to search your deck for 4 Fire Energies cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. Your turn ends immediately. Can be problematic with ending your turn immediately, but if you can't attack this turn, then this is a really good play. You can especially put it on something like a Eternatus, for instance, charge it up instantly with 4 Fire Energies and immediately get rolling and have an option to completely blow out your opponent's big expensive Pokemon somehow. 2 copies of Marnie. If we have an unplayable hand, we can just shuffle it back into the deck with Marnie, and we can also just disrupt our opponent by forcing them to shuffle their hand back into the deck in the process. Put it on the bottom of the deck to be more precise. Then you draw 5 and then your opponent draws 4. So if we can't use our main supporter card of the deck, then this is a nice alternative option. Okay, enough beating around the bush. Let's go to the main supporter card this deck is built around. So this deck is built around Welder. Attach 2 Fire Energy cards from your hand to one of your Pokemon, then draw 3 cards. A frankly ridiculous card that basically allows you to further your on-field advantage at no cost to your hand size whatsoever. You basically just replace 3 cards with 3 more cards, which could be quite useful. You can find the evolution you're looking for. You can find even more tools to allow you to improve things. Plus, with Welder, you basically get to attach 3 energy per turn. Many of our Pokemon have 3 energy attack costs, so we want to recycle this as much as possible with Mewtwo and with Palpad and use it as often as possible. We also want to try and find it with Pokegear, so ideally we want to make sure that we get off this Welder so that we can really get rolling. When the deck gets to play Welder, it really gets moving. And finally, the energy cards. We have 1 copy of Aurora Energy because I only have 1, but it allows us to pay multiple different attack costs in the deck, like Latias's Energy Arrow, as well as Galarian Obstagoon's Obstruct. 1 Darkness Energy for Galarian Obstagoon because it's all we need really. 2 Psychic Energy for Latias and Mewtwo. And 12 Fire Energy as our main energy resource and also as fuel for the Welder. So, that's just the deck profile. It is a big pile of kitchen table jank. So, let's take this kitchen table jank and let's take on the world! Okay, we get to call the coin flip, so we're going to go and try and flip. Yeah, okay, we won the coin flip, so we're going to be going second. We're against a dark deck by the looks of it, and we have to mulligan by the looks of it, okay. Right, let's go and see what we get. We've actually got a Latias. Opponent took 1 mulligan, we had to take 1 as well. So we didn't get too far until we got to the Latias. We can Speedwing first turn because of the Welder and 2 Fire Energy in our hand, so that's really, really good. But we don't have any other Pokemon, so if they have something big... No, it's an Alolan Grimer. Which does allow them to draw 2 cards, but they are going to get a Cherish Ball, so... Maybe they have a Zoroark. Is it a Zoroark deck, maybe? No, Yveltal. So they go get their Yveltal GX and starts building that up. And they use draw energy to draw an extra card in the process. I can do one better than that. Welder to draw 3 cards and attach 2 fire energy. Put another energy on here. And then we're just going to go ahead and Speed Wing for the knockout. Hopefully we can survive the next turn. That's not going to help us much at all. Fortunately, I don't think they can knock us out this turn, can they? They can use Sonic Evil for 100 damage though, so that's a problem. Right, we really need a Pokemon, otherwise we've already lost. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and Mysterious Treasure. And we're going to go ahead and discard the Evolution Incense, I think. And we're going to go and get ourselves a Stuffle. No, we can't get ourselves a Stuffle, what am I saying? This Mysterious Treasure, we're just going to get ourselves another Latias. There's also got an Eternatus on the bench, so it looks like we're getting an Eternatus deck. That is very problematic. We're going to go ahead and Speed Wing. Hopefully they don't have Pokemon Center Lady, because that could change things considerably. They evolved into Eternatus VMAX, and that is extremely dangerous. What was I saying about Pokemon Center Lady? Wow. That sucks, because now they can... Okay, right, we need another Pokemon, really. A Stuffle, that's going to be pretty good. We're going to just go ahead and end our turn by Kiawing 3 fire energy onto our Latias. And they're going to use Piers to search for a energy and a dark Pokemon. And they're going to get Crobat V. So Crobat V is one of the best cards in the game right now. When you put it onto your bench, you get to draw cards until you have 6 in your hand. That's all it really does, but it's especially good in Eternatus decks because they can only play dark Pokemon. And now they have their dark Pokemon have no retreat cost, so that's problematic. We're going to evolve into Beware. Draw 3 cards and try and set this thing up for going forward. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and attach this fire energy. Depends. We might we'll put this Gossifleur down if needs be. We're also going to go ahead and use Galarian Zigzagoon to hit the Yveltal. Because it looks like we aren't going to get to KO, which is rather unfortunate. Pokemon Center Lady kind of denies the opportunity there. And we're going to go ahead and actually we're going to use a Pal Pad first to put the Kiawe and the Welder back into the deck. And we're also going to go ahead and try and super scoop up the Galarian Zigzagoon, which failed completely. So we're going to go Energy Arrow, which leaves us 30 damage short of being able to knock out this Yveltal. So I think we're going to go into the Gossifleur next turn to try and call for reinforcements, keep ourselves in this game somewhat. Unless we draw into a Welder, in which case we're going to Beware. And we have to switch if needs be, so... Also a Bursting Balloon on there now, so that means that if it's attached to your active Pokemon and is damaged by opponents, you put 6 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. But they should be able to KO our Latias anyway. So we're going to go into Gossifleur and use the Fire Crystal to retrieve our fire energy. Then we're going to go and call for family to get some more Pokemon in. The Gossifleur will go down pretty easily, but it's a sacrifice worth making. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves Minchino We're going to get ourselves the other Latias, and we're going to get ourselves a Turtonator. That's going to fill our bench up. The bursting balloon's been discarded. We end up doing absolutely nothing in the end. And they're going to heal again, Diet! No! And they're going to go and retreat to their Zoroark, who's going to use Mind Jack to knock us out completely. And that's a real problem. We've just wasted a completely big opportunity there. We're going to put the Latias into the active. Hopefully we'll try and build up the Beware somehow. So we're going to go evolve into Chinchino. And we're going to make do to discard a Fire Energy and draw 2 cards. We've got another Stuffle. This Latias will be a sacrificial lamb, unfortunately, but we'll see how things go. So yeah, Mind Jack is gonna be able to knock us out, I think. So you're going to get a Sableye and use a Max Elixir, which is a really good card. It basically allows you to get an extra energy attachment which you can find off the top of your deck. We use our Latias. Okay, we really start trying to get ourselves up. They got down to 2 prizes, which is not great. We go ahead and use Marnie to get ourselves some extra stuff. And we're going to go ahead and Pokemon Catcher to try and get... Oh, didn't work, dang it. Okay, Great Ball, see what we can find. We can get a Beware and evolve that to draw 3 more cards. We're drawn to Galarian Zigzagoon. But we don't really, you can't use Welder, but we still have access to Chinchino if necessary. We will still need quite a bit of damage from that Galarian Zigzagoon in order to do anything, so we're going to go ahead and try and hit it. Hit this here, Super Scoop Up. Flip Tails, dang it. Chinchino, actually, what if we can find off Pokegear, see if we can find anything. No, okay. That was a wasted card. So we're going to go ahead and make do, discard the Psychic Energy and draw 2 cards. And we pretty much ended back with a very similar hand to what we started with. That's great. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and use Dangerous Blow on the Zoroark, which is not going to KO it by any means. So they, however, will get to KO. So yeah, things are looking pretty bleak for us here. And Mind Jack's going to take the KO on Beware. Who do we want to go with next? I think we have to sacrifice our Chinchino, to be honest. Then we can go ahead and put Fire Energy on Chinchino, and then we're going to go ahead and Marnie. We're trying to start building up a Turtonator, I think. Actually, no, wait, if we do that, okay, we basically lost this game, so yeah, I'm going to concede now. World wins. Eternatus is a bit too strong for us to be able to handle. On to the next game. On to game 2. Sorry about some of the lag issues in the previous game. There was a bit of points when I was using Chinchino's ability where the footage got stuck on frames, and try to resolve it as much as possible, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, for this game, we're going to go ahead... We do not have access to necessary energy, so we're going to actually go ahead and start with a Stuffle and put the Latias on the bench. Things might change over time, so we'll see how it goes. Our opponent's playing a dark deck, so they are playing Darkrai GX, which is a really good card. If it's in the discard pile, it can put itself onto the bench and then attach its energy to itself. So if they put anything else on the bench, we'll be able to get something to try and stall them with Pokemon Catcher. But our hand isn't too great. In Pokemon, you cannot mulligan. You have to mulligan so you can start a basic Pokemon. But aside from that, you can end up with some pretty bad hands. So we're going to go ahead and switch out to Latias. And it has one retreat, so if needs be, we can do that. So we're going to go ahead and quick ball away this Pokemon Catcher for a Galarian Zigzagoon. I'm going to super scoop up just to try and get some. Nope, it failed. Okay. We do have a Psychic Energy there, so that's pretty nice. Not that it matters area because Dark Fuse is going to take this KO. And they have a Pokemon Center Lady every single time! Damn! They always have, the opponents always need to have a Pokemon Center Lady when you least expect it, and it's looking pretty bleak now. Unless they have a Pokemon Center, well, you know, they play Erica's Hospitality, so we can probably carry them with Minchino next turn, which would be pretty funny. Unfortunately, they are down to 3 prizes now, so that's pretty big. We need to draw something good off this. Yahweh, we'll resort to that later. For now, we'll just go ahead and tail whack to take out the Darkrai, which is pretty funny. Super scoop up, energy spinner, or do we? No, I've used up with my psychic energy, so actually it's not the case at all. So we're going to Galarian Zigzagoon next. A Lowland Persian is coming in. So now against the Lowland Persian. And any special energy means that so if we get a raw energy, we can do stuff. Unfortunately, because Darkrai is so recursive, it can get itself back immediately. We'll go ahead, super scoop up. Take the Galarian Zigzagoon back, put this down here. Put 10 damage counters on, and what we're actually going to do now is Kiawe free fire energy onto Latias. This does mean we lose our draw engine for the long term, but I feel like it's something worth doing, really. And they got a Marnie. So we're going to have to shuffle these two. We do get from 2 to 4 cards, I suppose, but we do lose the rare candy option for now, because it goes onto the bottom of the deck. Oh, and they can put the bench, so actually we're screwed, so I missed that part. So Stalking Claws just does damage to anything, and now we are royally screwed. I don't know what to do here. I think we just probably try and Pokemon Catcher. Yeah, and then puts out the Dino. Retreating to a Lowland Persian, and the KO on the Minchino is coming. Claw Slash. Switching to the Galarian Zigzagoon, actually hopefully gets the Darkness Energy or an Energy Spinner to allow us to get access to it. No. We have the Aurora Energy and the Turtonator, but we basically lose the game, so yep. RIP. 2 defeats in a row so far. Can we finally get a win from somewhere? Maybe it'll be against this Dragon deck here. See how it goes. Dark decks have not been kind against us so far. This hand has not been kind against us so far either, because we're going to have to take a mulligan. I have to start with a Minchino, which is not ideal at all. We can do 30 damage, but that's not really what I really wanted. So what's their Pokemon to start with? They are starting with a Dramper. It has an attack for a mass that lets you search for a basic energy card and attach it. Then Paracyclone does 80 for free energy, but you move an energy to one of your bench Pokemon. So it can be used in some ways to help in it up. So we also got capture energy, and they use it to bring in execute. We're going to go ahead and mysterious treasure away a fire energy. That'll allow us to get into Latias. Now it's too early to do anything about that, so we're just going to go ahead and attach a fire energy to Minchino and then tail whap on the Dramper for 30. Now if they have double colourless energy or twin energy, they can KO this Minchino next turn, but it looks like not this turn, so they're going to use Olivia to search for 2 Pokemon GX. So presumably they've got an Executor or something. No, Naganadel and Guzzlord and Rayquaza GX. So we are against GXs here by the looks of it. Shouldn't be too surprised really. This is expanded after all. They have access to EXs, GXs and Pokemon Vs, which are all far better than what I have in my deck anyway. This kitchen table Jank doing something. Now they've used a mass to get up to 3. So what we want to do is now get our Psychic Energy onto Latias. Now, will there be enough damage to KO the Dramper? I don't think there will be. So we will do 60 to the Dramper, but then Paracyclone. Actually, that's a better play because then we give up less prize cards. I've been too follying in my prize cards so far. So we're going to go Energy Arrow to hit Dramper. That's going to do 60 and leave them with just 30 HP remaining. Let's go for Paracyclone to do 80 damage. They've moved an energy to their execute, which suggests they're going to go for that next. So what we're going to do is put Galarian Zigzagoon down. Put that down here. Super Scoop up. Tails, dang it. Head's good. Put it down again. This is why we need to scoop up that really ideally, but yep, that's down to 20 now. We're just going to go ahead and attach this Latias is probably going to go down pretty soon actually, I think. Or maybe not, maybe we can get away with it. So I'll go risk this and then Energy Arrow to take out the Dramper. And we get a Fire Energy from that. Now Minchino can come in and carry the Execute. Never mind, they have the Alolan Executor, the Memetree. 20 damage to the most energy attached to this Pokemon is one of your opponent's Pokemon. So yeah, Tropical Head has gone ahead and KO'd, so that's bad. And this is the problem, if I can't amass something, it's real issues arise. So yeah, things looking pretty bleak, and there's a Garchomp and Giratina. That thing's pretty good, although it hasn't really made much impact in Standard. It's been quite competitive and expanded, though, I was to say. Okay, we're screwed. Nothing gonna do, really. Kiawe was good, but the fact that it ends your turn means that that's not really ideally what we could have done with at that point. We've got the energy, but not really what we need. So what I want to show off here is, oh, they haven't got their deck. In some cases, you can look at your opponent's deck to see what they're playing. So, as you can see, you've got different stats here. But yeah, something I want to see on Magic Arena is the ability to be able to look at what your opponent's deck was after the game is over, and have this more detailed attacks stat screen after the game, like as you see on PTCGO here. So yeah, we haven't done very well so far, but maybe there'll be light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe. We'll just have to find out. On to the next game. On to the fourth game. We got the coin flip. We won the coin flip, so we're going to choose to go second. Hopefully we can better luck in this game than we have in our first 3 games, which has frankly been miserable. But apparently not, because we're starting with Mewtwo. We're going to Shaymin EX. At the time of recording this, VMAX is still legal and expanded, but it's getting banned on the 27th of November. So, and the reason is, it allows you to draw until you have 6 cards in your hand, but unlike Crobat, it's not once per turn, so you can use stuff like Scoop Up Net to pick it up and use the ability all over again. It makes the deck super consistent. Plus, Shaman's a colourless Pokemon, so it can be used in every deck. So yeah, against a fighting deck, this should be kind of interesting. We don't necessarily have any weakness to fighting, really. Now, you could argue that having weakness and resistance in the Pokemon trading card game kind of breaks it, really. We have Latias here. What we're actually going to do is go and quick ball for... We're going to quick ball away this Pokegear for a Eternatus. And then we're going to go and use... attach a fire energy to it. Then use Kiawe to load up fire energies onto our Eternatus. How fitting. Kiawe and Eternatus are the best matches for each other. So yeah, we've got quite a backup here. This Rockruff will probably evolve into Lycanroc GX, which is actually pretty dangerous because Lycanroc GX has an ability that when it evolves, it lets you... Oh, well, how do we get this Mewtwo out of the active now? I was saying Lycanroc GX allows you to use to switch your opponent's Pokemon when you evolve it, so it's really good. And the fact they're attaching to it suggests that they might be going down that route with a Lycanroc. So to be really the case. We also have a Zygarde here. It seems like they're building up towards their Rockruff, so what I'm actually going to do is put a damage counter on the Rockruff and then try and switch in, which fails completely. Right, I think we have to pass turn. Unfortunately, my plan was to use the switch to get into Eternatus and KO this Regirock, but it looks like that's not going to happen. It seems our opponent might have some experience in competitive because of their deck box, or maybe that's just some... Because this is a special play Pokemon deck box, it's not something you can normally get through playing the game normally, because Pokemon TCG is very integrated with the real life game. So that anything you buy in real life gets translated onto the online game, which is pretty cool in my opinion. It's a nice way for Pokemon to try and encourage people to actually play the card instead of just collecting it. So, which I guess is what this game really needed. Also, we have 3 Welders on our hand, but no fire energies to make anything good out of it. So that is pretty bad. So what we need is a super up to flip heads. Also get the other switch, and Lycanroc GX is going to come out, and we're going to be... They're going to switch into, I would guess, my Eternatus. That is who I wanted, but it does mean they might get to KO it early, because it only has 110 HP after all. And Lycanroc, coincidentally, has 100 attack for 3 energy, which he currently has thanks to double colourless, for 110, so yeah, that's pretty bad actually. And they've got to evolve into Octillery. Octillery has the ability with Abyssal Hands. It lets you draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. They can use the Trainer's Mail. And they're sort of mauling with this Regirock, which doesn't really have a retreat cost because of the Float Stone equipped to it, but... So yeah, they can pretty much retreat their Regirock, go into Lycanroc and KO Eternatus. This is actually really bad. This is why we needed that switch dagger. That's we just got royally screwed over. I should stop complaining, really. It's not like we and they go Dangerous Rogue. And they go yeah, Energy Arrow onto this Lycanroc. That's going to do 60 damage, but unfortunately... No, actually, wait, we can survive Claw Slash. No, we can't, because it's got a Muscle Band. Okay, right. I did say this probably was the jankiest deck of the lot in this series, and it's been proven that just now. They're down to 4 prizes now. We're really lacking on energy. This 3 Welders is not working out at all. Oh, for goodness sake. I had the switch in hand and we're just forced to shuffle it away, and then they just had Lycanroc to just gust up the Eternatus, and it completely ruined our entire plans for this game. Just bricks so dang hard. And they got another Lycanroc GX, so they're going to switch it and get things again to avoid go after Mewtwo. Called it. I'm not not sure there's anything we can do now. This Lichen Rock's just destroying everything before it. And we're going to stumble down. And then we're going to go ahead and super scoop up to reuse our Galarian Zigzagoon. That was a success, great. And we're going to go ahead and call for family, get ourselves Minccino, Latias and Stuffle. So it's their turn. Anyway, this Lichen Rock's going to KO Gossifleur, and now we're in real trouble here. I think the safe thing to do is to put the Minccino up, evolve it to Cinccino. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and concede, because what point is there going forward with this? Well, that's another defeat. And this is turning into an absolute nightmare. We've got not much time to try and salvage something from this, so hopefully we can get something in the last 2 games. See you in the next game. So, 4 defeats in a row, so it's not going very well so far. Can we finally find something, a match we can win? I have to see about that because, well, we are against another dark deck. It looks like we've got a Latias, Stuffle and Galarian Zigzagoon to start with. We're going to go ahead and start with the Latias, I think. Set things up. And we're against a Spiritomb. Is this a control deck? Because that seems like the type of Pokemon you'd run in a control deck. Well, Hypnotoxic Laser says a lot, really. But this is a ridiculous card. This card poisons on an item card, and then you can even get to put your opponent to sleep if you get a head. So already we're on the back foot here somewhat. So we're going to go ahead and use a Welder. Hopefully we can get into Energy Spinner, or actually it doesn't really matter because we're asleep. And then we're going to go ahead and well, we're going to go and use Galarian Zigzagoon's ability to put something on here. We use a Pokegear to see if we can find a Welder. And we find a Welder, so that's good. Ready for next turn, if we like to keep our hands. And so we're going to wait until next turn. That being said, that Terrify attack might be stopping us from being able to attack altogether, so that has a slight issue. We'll eventually have a Sigilyph, which is going to be able to counter, but not for us because we're not running GXs or EXs, so this will be a really annoying deck to have to face by the looks of things. Right, so what we really want to do is get onto the Stuffle now. Unfortunately, that indeed makes things a bit more complicated for us, so I think we're going to put this down here. We can save the Pokemon Catcher for a bit later. So I want to go probably as a Mysterious Treasure for Mewtwo, I think. No, or yeah, Mewtwo. We're going to try and reuse our Welders where possible. We have the Fire Crystal in hand, if needs be. So yeah, we're going to go here and top deck the Welder. And then we're going to go ahead and retreat to our Stuffle to attack the opponents. Going down to 40. And they're going to switch over to their Sigilyph. This is bad. Now, if we do manage... Okay, never mind. Never mind. So we are going to draw into the Welder thanks to Mewtwo. So we're going to use the Fire Crystal to get our Fire Energy back. And then you use Welder to energy arrow. Then put another Latias down. Then we're going to use Aurora energy to attach to this Latias and discard this fire energy. Then we're going Pokemon Catcher, hopefully. Yes, okay, let's bring up for the Spiritomb and knock it out with Speed Wing. Latias will unfortunately take the knockout from the Sigilif next turn, but let's see. We have a Marnie in hand, which we should draw for prize cards. It's going to be quite interesting. What do I want to do? I kind of want to set up the use the Kiawe to set up the way of Latias, so I think I'll do that. We've got another Welder. Yeah, we're going to use Kiawe to set up this Latias. And use the Mewtwo as a stall. I mean, it's going to give them a free prize, unfortunately, but hey, I suppose it's probably worth it. What we really need is Eternatus, though. Probably should have thought about better build, a bit more in advance. Enhanced Hammer, no! So what Enhanced Hammer does is it allows you to discard a special energy, and they use their GX attack, which does 6 damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Which was absolutely none, which is kind of silly, and we have to Marnie because we can't really do anything else, so that's going to give them a 4-card hand. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go Energy Spinner to get the Psychic Energy to put on the Latias. So they completely wasted their GX attack, so they should have just gone with Sonic Wind, really. We'll save the Pokemon Catcher. We're ideally looking for a Switch or a Super Scoop Up. Super Scoop Up would be even better because of Mewtwo's ability. Mewtwo's really good because of the ability, really, not so much because of its attack. So anyway, they're taking a knockout on the Mewtwo. We're going to our Latias. And we need to line up another Latias in the future, because otherwise things will be problematic. So are there any KOs we can take? We might be able to KO an Inkay. So let's try doing that. Okay. Or we could like these. Oh. Right, so what now? We could probably try and pal pad the 2 Welders back into the deck. And now let's go and use Speed Wing to do 100 damage to the Sigilif. Sonic Wing can't KO us, I think, but the Indeedee can, unfortunately, so that's bad. We're going to Gossifleur, which might be the worst time to do that possible. Poker Gear. Welder's not ideal in this situation, dang it. Ah. Evolution Incense is there, but that can only search your evolution Pokemon, so yeah, the Gossifleur is lamb for the slaughter, unfortunately. Oh, this is going absolutely terribly. We really need to flip heads on that Pokemon Catcher. As for the Latias, because we kind of need it really. We have Marnie now, but we have no real outlet to get what we need, so we put Turtonator down. Welder on. No, we can't use Welder though. Okay, right. Okay, we're pretty much screwed then. We get to take back the Galarian Zigzagoon and put some damage on here, but it's to what avail? Well, we heads on the Galarian Zigzagoon to Super Scoop Up twice, I guess, so that's something at least, but it's not really any points, we're just going to concede the game. Yeah, that's not going very well at all. We did manage to take a knockout, but it was to not really much to avail, so yeah, I shall see you on the final game of the episode. So, final game of the episode, and it hasn't been particularly great so far. We've lost 5 matches. Can we actually manage to win one? Let's see. Probably not when we're starting with Mewtwo. Also when we're going first, that doesn't help. But we do have Mysterious Treasure, which is going to help us get into something, like a Latias or something. We get to draw 5 cards, however, so that's actually considerably better. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and use a Mysterious Treasure to discard a Fire Energy, because we can get it back later on and get a Latias. Attach a Psychic Energy. Looks like we're against a Trubbish and a Lowland Grimer, so we've got a poison, probably a poison deck by the looks of things. So yeah, we're going to leave it here for now. And they're going to float stone onto the Lowland Grimer, attached to Trubbish, and they're going to use an N. No! I have 2 Welders in my hand. Oh, bummer. Oh dear. And of course we don't even get an N in return, so yeah. And they're going to even recycle the N, so they get to control our hand every single turn. Well, this is problematic. I mean, I know Garbodor was pretty competitive, so well, surprisingly it's going to be competitive here too. Energy Arrow would only do 20 damage, so we're going to go ahead and just key our way onto the Eternatus. And hopefully when they use N next turn, we also have the ability to attach stuff, because also we cannot hold down stuff on our hands, and also, yeah, there's the N. So that's also going to get rid of our ability, so that's going to turn off our Galarian Zigzagoon, which is pretty bad. We have the energy spinner, so that's nice. Okay, this is ridiculous. Okay, so we're going to go an energy spinner for a fire energy. Put that onto here, and then we're going to go ahead and switch over to Latias. We'll go ahead and quick ball away this Welder. I know it seems counterintuitive, but we're going to get the Minchino. No, we're going to go get a Stuffle. So unfortunately we can't really use Galarian Zigzagoon because of the Lowland Max, so that's kind of gets in the way. And then what we're going to do is to stop from getting an N again, we're going to use Marnie to reset their hand. At least I hope we can not get an N. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to go straight to attack really and take care of the Trubbish. Rock Guard unfortunately does 60 damage to us, so not totally ideal, but so this Mutt can't actually attack at the moment, but they're probably looking for the N again. And they find an N again. Well, they're probably playing against a 4 of, considering how it's been recycled quite a bit. Wow, that's every single turn we've had an N. And that means that the more knockouts we take, the less cards we're going to see. There's a reason N was played pretty competitively. Now, Ultra Crossbow is a pretty dangerous Pokemon. It can do 170 damage, but you can't attack unless your opponent has 2 or fewer prize cards remaining. What we're going to do is we're going to Welder onto the Eternatus. Use a Great Ball. If we can find Galarian Obstagoon, then maybe it might work, because we will be able to then Galarian Zigzagoon, which won't actually do anything due to the ability. We'll put a Dark Energy onto it. Yeah, but the problem is we'll be able to take our The problem is we may not be allowed to take our turn, so we'll go ahead and speed wing onto the Ultra Necrozma. And I'm going to use Cynthia for this turn, so no end this turn, thankfully. That means we can evolve into Galarian Obstagoon, KO that Ultra Necrozma, and then allow them to allow us to set up something else. But they concede! Yes! Victory to Kitchen Table Jank in the last game of the episode. At last we managed to win a game, albeit through the opponent's concession, but never mind. Fantastic. And we completed our daily objective too. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the post-game wrap-up and we'll go talk about it all. Well, that was an absolute massacre, wasn't it? Really, really bad overall. But we did manage to win one game, so there is that. Time to go over deck changes I would make. So first of all, the first thing I would do is cut Mysterious Treasure and Great Ball entirely and go along with 4 Quick Balls. I would also cut the Super Scoop Ups entirely and go with 4 Scoop Up Nets. Actually, before I do that, go to Switch and then add in 3 Scoop Up Nets. I only have 1 on the account at the moment, but I would definitely add more if possible. Okay, so for the next change I would make, I would also cut the PAL pad out, since we'll have more reliable means to do Mewtwo, because we're also going to be cutting the Galarian Obstagoon and the Galarian Zigzagoon for a few tools. We're going to be adding Muscle Band and Telescopic Sight. Which I don't own on the game yet, but we'll just put it in there just for now. What else do we want? Keep the Kiawe in there because that's pretty good. We could probably cut the Gossifleur and the Rare Candy and put in 2 copies of Pokemon Communication. And that's one way we could go about it. This does look a bit better. Also, I would also cut Energy Spinner and replace them with Giant Half. Or we can go for 2 Giant Halves and 1 Viridian Forest. And yeah, that's some of the changes I would make to the deck. Other ways would probably be putting some better Pokemon in here that could actually do a lot more damage than Latias. But you're looking at Pokemon that are potential Vs in that regard. You can also use stuff like the Arcanine from which is the Unbroken Bonds, the one that has ridiculously powerful attacks or something. Also other fire support. I don't actually own this card yet, but you could go for Volcanion. This one right here, which is really good for setting up any Pokemon immediately. So you can just search a bunch of fire cards and attach this to any single Pokemon. So really good overall. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Kitchen Table Jank versus the World. The World won 2 games to our 1, but maybe when we do Yu-Gi-Oh! Next week, things will be different. So, thank you for watching this episode of Kitchen Table Jank versus the World. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please share this with your friends so you get more people watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel for more content in the future and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when new videos arrive. Also follow me on Twitter at genericaperson or one word. Thank you for watching. I've been A Person. Goodbye.